Moni, where do demons come from?
Well, see, Jack, when a mage faces insurmountable amounts of despair.
Oh, gross, Mom! TMI! Oh, you're so gross! By the way, where's Dad?
He's. Well, Asta's gonna die! No!
Hello, everyone. If you are new, I am Jack OATz the GOAT. You either know or you don't. Now, today I wanted to talk about how a demon is birthed in the world of Black Clover. And after we talk about that, I do want to talk about whether or not Asta should die and whether or not I think he should or shouldn't die. So stick around and find out. But first things first, mages and magettes, I need you to drop a like and subscribe to this channel, or I will have Jack the Ripper find you and cut you between every finger. And I don't know if you guys have ever been cut between every finger, but let me tell you, that's the second worst pain. And the first being dropping a fresh pizza that has been delivered and you've not been able to eat it yet. I miss that pizza.
You just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't.
Now, before we get down into this really deep rabbit hole, I do want to say this is just me spitballing ideas on information that we've been provided with. This is not me saying this is 100% going to happen. This is just me bouncing ideas off. This is the fun about having a discussion. And I'm looking forward to seeing what your opinions might be in the comment section below. But there are some things that kind of allude to why I think this way, which I will be referencing to. So in my last video, I told you guys that I came across a rabbit hole, and it started with Sekre. And it came across this fun fact that her last name is actually Swallowtail. Now, we were just introduced to the magic tool named Swallowtail that Julius used to revive himself. Well, I also did a little rereading, and go figure, they used the Swallowtail to help defeat Lit in his demon form before they dealt the finishing blow. So what it did was take a lot of mana away from him, although it didn't take all of it away. It weakened him a good enough amount so that Lit could deal that final blow. So that was pretty cool to reread and watch happen. That was kind of crazy. So if anything, moral of the story is manga mostly is not just a one read basis. You have to reread the stuff to really get the full value and where we get these crazy ideas from. Now, upon rereading, I realized that Sekre didn't always have horns. She actually grew the horns because she used the forbidden magic to seal away despair. And Despair even commented on her complete disregard of the backlashes of using forbidden magic. But let's come back to Sekre. While she gives us some answers, she also kind of leaves us with this gray area of just straight up confusion, because the rules that I'm about to list out on becoming a demon kind of get weird when it comes to Sekre. But let's get into it. We know that demons are born from the fifth leaf. That's what we've been told since the beginning of the season. But where did Despair come from? The first time we see Despair chronologically, back when the first Wizard King or Wizard Emperor was in power, he was only a mass of negative mana going from person to person, possessing them to manipulate certain situations and happenings to be able to finally possess a body, to possess a strong body. And I say this because from the beginning of the series, we are led to believe that demons pretty much need to attach themselves to a grimoire, where we don't see that as the case with Despair. So how was Despair even born if his soul was just out and about? So here's what I think. I believe that demons are made through just the sheer overuse of forbidden magic. And we see this in two instances. Well, one and a half, because of Sekre. The first instance being Lit. Lit turned into that giant demon monstrosity that we see, and FYI, he was only that big because he used magic stones on top of using that super forbidden spell. But the spell was strong enough for his body to be corrupted and turn into a demon physically. Now, the half instance is Sekre, who used forbidden magic twice. The first one, she used magic stones on top of a forbidden magic to seal away despair, and this allowed her to grow horns. Now, like I said in the beginning, the demon even says like she clearly doesn't even care about the backlashes of using forbidden magic. So he already knows what using forbidden magic entails, and there's consequences to it. And then we see it again with Sekre when she seals Lumiere into the statue and all the stones and all that, whatever she did, whatever. We see it again, but she turns into a bird, not a demon. Now, this is where things get like all confusing, because then everything I said just gets like tossed out the window. But I don't think so. I think that it's safe to say that she turned into a bird, something powerless, and it didn't have a permanent lasting effect. I can only assume that turning into a bird, something as harmless as a bird, and also didn't hold any permanent backlash, as we see that she turned back into herself with horns, is that there was no ill intent behind what she was doing using the second forbidden magic. She was actually looking out for the betterment of everyone in the world, or at least that kingdom, to protect it against evil. So I think that's what saved her from becoming a demon and losing herself. So then what's the deal with despair? Well, I think despair was actually a normal being at some point, a human, a gnome, or whatever. Not an elf, though. We know that he wouldn't have been an elf. He used enough forbidden magic to become a demon physically and corrupted himself. Now, why do I think he existed, even before Lumiere? Is because he alludes to having a physical body at some point in time. And this definitely wasn't within that 500-year period. It wasn't during that time when he was manipulating, other people. This had to have been an earlier instance, so despair is old. On top of that, I do think he was killed in whatever time he was living in as a demon, which explains why his soul was detached and going from person to person. Now, after death, he probably spent a very long time looking for another body to possess, because he would have had to look for a 4-leaf clover to corrupt and be able to take over the owner's body. And as we know since the beginning of the series, 4-leaf clovers are extremely rare, especially among humans. And we can't say that he could have just gone straight to the elves, because the elves were pretty tucked away. From what we know, they had contact with no one else aside from Lumiere up to that point. So I'm sure that information was just not readily available. Elves seemingly intentionally hid themselves from the rest of the world. Maybe because they knew that they could be corrupted by demons and whatnot, as they also do allude to previous battles with other demons during their time. So there's a lot of stuff going on in there, but there's not a whole lot of information to actually delve into. And as far as the devil's soul not going to the afterlife if he was killed after having a physical body earlier on, I would want to refer you to Broku No Hero's page, where he does talk about the possibility of there being a Valhalla. This is where, well, I'll let you go watch it, but essentially this is just where souls go, and what happens is that, the lore behind Valhalla is that that's where souls go to pretty much keep fighting to the heart's content and whatnot. So we'll also kind of get into that as we go on, but yeah, like I said, Broku No Hero's the pro at that stuff, so definitely go check out his page and what he's got to say in Valhalla. Make sure you subscribe and everything, all the stuff. Pull out all the stops. Be cool, alright? Be cool. So essentially, use enough forbidden magic and you'll become a demon. BAM! Then we're kind of left with the question of, well, can only people who possess 4-leaf clovers become demons? While it may seem that way, I think there's actually a lot more to grimoires than we're led to believe. If there's a process for becoming a 5-leaf clover, I'm sure there's actually a process for becoming a 4-leaf clover. And this is heavily alluded to since we met Revchi in, I believe, the second episode in the anime, where there's a whole black market for grimoires, and he's out here separating people from the grimoires when we're led to believe that no one else aside from the owner can use that grimoire, and yet there's still a market for these grimoires. Why? So there's a lot about grimoires that we still don't know, which is why I can't fully answer this question. But that's an entirely different video anyway, and I still have one more point to get to. Will Asta die? Absolutely. If Tabata knew what was good for the series, he would actually kill Asta. Now, I know you're probably confused as to why I think this, and this is going to go back to Broku No Hero's idea of there being a Valhalla. Now, let's think about the previous chapters when the elves started moving on. We got Licht, who willingly moved on when he didn't have to. He moved on without much words of wisdom to even someone who has his grimoire. It was actually a big letdown, and I think I even said that in one of my chapter reviews when it happened. Licht is the only person that can train Asta on how to properly use these swords, more notably, the Demon Destroyer sword. He left him with absolutely nothing but a see you later. So now, if Valhalla exists like Broku No Hero does explain, then this will allow Asta to die and go to Valhalla and potentially meet up with Licht so that he can train under Licht to grow stronger, to be able to use the Demon Destroyer sword properly and become a huge problem for the series. Oh, okay, I see. That's pretty cool. But I mean, how's he gonna escape Valhalla? Now, if I'm reading into things correctly, from what we saw from Despair, the guy's smart, don't get me wrong, but he's not smart enough to escape an afterlife. I do believe there's someone or something that does allow somehow souls to escape Valhalla and come back to the physical world. Not in a physical body like we see with Despair. Asta would have to find a body to inhabit. Now, are we going to get like a whole new character design for Asta? No, we're not. There's maybe some ways that we can save Asta's body. Magic tools are becoming more and more prevalent in this series, especially with Lumiere and Sekre showing up. With Sekre here, there's definitely a way to preserve Asta's body. On top of that, Julius is back. He does have one page of his grimoire, so this kind of doesn't work, but maybe he can seal Asta's body in one of those little time bubbles so that the body doesn't get damaged over time. Because if this happens, there would be a time skip where Yuno does have a chance to get stronger and learn from the best. Maybe even after this time skip become captain of the Golden Dawn. You never know. He really holds it down for the Golden Dawn, and he's clearly one of the best. But I mean, that's just me spitballing ideas. Like I said in the beginning, I have no idea, but to me, this sounds like it could be a possibility. I do honestly hope Asta dies, though. We had so many people die and then just come back. Like, this is what separates the little boy animes from the men, is deaths. Knowing when to kill off a character, to up the stakes and increase the reader's interest in the series. If everything's all fine and dandy and people are just going to come back, it's going to lose interest. You know, no one's going to take a death seriously. It just won't hold any water later on. So I do hope Asta dies, because man, a main character dying, what the heck? Especially if you're blindsided by, you know, some of these things that I didn't mention that maybe if they do end up happening, people honestly wouldn't see it coming. But we need some heavy things to actually happen, and we just don't have that yet. But I think I'll leave things there, you guys. This video is definitely long enough, and like I said, this is just me spitballing ideas. None of this is 100% guaranteed going to happen. It's just what I think, and I'm not married to any ideas. That's why I open the comment section up to you guys. Let me know your opinions. Maybe I will shift my opinion due to what you say. I know Broku No Hero is actually a big reason why I've shifted some of my ideas in certain ways. So, I mean, it's anyone's game. It's fair game. Just let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me also know what you want to see on this channel. I'm going to be catching up on Samurai 8. I think I'll be just reading My Hero Academia instead of doing a reaction, since all this crap is going on with YouTube and Shueisha. So once I catch up with that, I'll probably be covering that as well. If there's any other series that you want me to cover on this channel, please let me know in the comment section below. While you're there, like and subscribe. Go to Broku No Hero's page, check it out. It has a lot of cool content. Go subscribe to his page, drop likes too, drop your comments there. We're all one community. Let's bounce ideas off each other. Let's unite as one awesome ass community. With that, again, please like and subscribe. This has been Jack OATz the Goat. If you know,
I was on a roll. I had it. It was right there. Oh my god.
This has been Jack OATz. You either know or you don't.